Hello everyone, my name is Melcy Milones, and today I will be presenting how can a whole food plant-based diet reverse the underlying mechanisms of metabolic syndrome. As a registered dietitian with a focus on plant-based nutrition, I am particularly interested in the scientific mechanisms that may explain why a whole foods plant-based nutrition approach to disease is the fundamental direction we need to focus to help deter from the development of chronic preventable diseases. We will also explore what is a plant based diet. It is often used as an umbrella term, but today we'll break it down. We will also explore how a plant based diet can be used as an intervention for the nutritional treatment and prevention of the development of metabolic syndrome. My hypothesis is, can a whole food plant based diet improve or reverse the underlying mechanisms of metabolic syndrome by promoting a healthier gut, reducing chronic inflammation, improving insulin sensitivity, decreasing oxidative stress, as well as enhancing endothelial function? While we currently have a vast amount of evidence based research that notes on the clinical benefits a whole foods plant based diet can encompass, I would like to integrate the underlying biological pathways that explain these outcomes. I want to emphasize on the interconnected mechanisms each aspect of this diet can support and deter from the development of metabolic syndrome. A plant based diet is the broad term and focuses on plant based nutrition, but it is open to interpretation. We have a vegetarian diet, which is used interchangeably with plant based diet, but to many it means that all animal products are excluded from the diet. We also have a flexitarian diet, which means it's flexible. One will mostly stick to a plant based diet, but will sometimes consume animal products for different reasons, mostly due to social constraints or lack of options. We also have a lacto-ovo vegetarian diet, which includes milk and eggs. We have a pescatarian diet, which includes fish, but excludes all the animal products. We then have a vegan diet, which exclusively focuses on all plants and excludes all animal based products, including honey. The use of animal products does not stop with the consumption. Someone who follows a vegan diet will not use products tested on animals or that involve or exploit animals during any part of the process. Vegans do not visit zoos, aquariums, horse races, or wear animal skin, also known as leather. The Vegan Society defines as veganism is a philosophy and a way of living which seeks to exclude, as far as is possible and practicable, all forms of exploitation of and cruelty to animals for food, clothing, or any other purpose, and by extension promotes the development and use of animal free alternatives for the benefit of animals, humans, and the environment. In dietary terms, it denotes the practice of dispensing with all products derived wholly or partly from animals. The focus will be on plant-based nutrition that excludes all animal products, the pathophysiology of metabolic syndrome, and how can we deter and or reverse it with the implementation of plant-based nutrition. It will take a deep dive on certain benefits and clinical manifestations and mechanisms that can be seen when consuming foods that are rich in fiber, antioxidants, polyphenols, and monounsaturated fatty acids, as well as plant proteins. A further exploration on how we can achieve cardiometabolic health, a healthy BMI, and optimize overall health status with a specific focus on metabolic syndrome. What is metabolic syndrome? It is a composite group of symptoms rather than a single disease. It is characterized by the presence of insulin resistance or diagnosis of type 2 diabetes, abdominal obesity, a waist circumference greater than 40 inches in men or 35 inches in women, dyslipidemia, high triglycerides or low HDL cholesterol, and hypertension. A study by Sidhu et al. where the gut microbiome composition was measured in vegetarians, vegans, and omnivores, found that vegetarians and vegans had an increase in short chain fatty acids, butyrate production pathway, and acetyl CoA, as well as X4 aminobutyrate succinate pathways. Butyrate alone has multiple physiological activities like the upregulation of tight junctions and therefore improving intestinal barrier. To have selective permeability, which prevents liposaccharides from crossing the intestinal wall and therefore preventing it from entering the bloodstream. It is the main energy source provider to colonocytes and helps lower systemic inflammation. Butyrate is known to be reduced in persons with type 2 diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular disease. It is also known to be reduced in persons living with inflammatory bowel diseases like Crohn's and ulcerative colitis, and associated with markers of systemic inflammation like C reactive protein. The X4 aminobutyrate succinate pathways is an elemental part of the metabolism of a primary inhibitory neurotransmitter, Y-aminobutyric acid, also known as GABA, and plays a significant role in carbon and nitrogen metabolism as well as cellular redox balance and stress responses across a wide range of organisms. Short chain fatty acids like acetate, butyrate, and propionate, made by microbes in the gut via fermentation of fibers and resistant starches that assist with the production of hormones like peptide tyrosine PYY and glucagon like peptide 1 GLP-1 through free fatty acids receptors. The production of PYY and GLP-1 hormones are noted to improve insulin sensitivity, glucose tolerance, and provide appetite suppression. Interestingly enough, clinical trials have confirmed that the removal of the left colon is associated with type 2 diabetes development, as GLP-1 producing cells are found in utmost numbers in the left colon. Short chain fatty acid production is provided by dietary fiber found in whole grains, legumes, psyllium, oat, wheat, barley, bran, guar gum, pectin, and resistant starch. Fiber has been linked to reduced obesity as well as fasting hyperinsulinemia. A study by Pham et al. 2024 noted that when short chain fatty acid concentrations were elevated, there was a correlation with a significant reduction on fasting insulin. This was noted in fiber rich diets or when participants were provided capsules containing sodium salts or inulin esters. A systematic review by Sidhu et al. 2023 found there are positive effects between a vegan diet, the gut microbiome, and metabolic syndrome. Authors noted lower blood glucose levels, lower body weight, lower total cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, triglycerides, and hemoglobin A1C levels just after 1 month of adhering to a vegan diet intervention. Certain bacteria known to induce low-grade chronic inflammation was also noted to be significantly reduced when following a vegan diet. Another study noted a significant reduction in oxidized low-density lipoprotein cholesterol, body mass index, and total cholesterol on participants following a vegan diet versus participants following an omnivore diet. Sidhu et al. Found the vegetarians and vegans had an increase in the X4 aminobutyrate succinate pathways, which plays a critical role in the production of GABA. This inhibitory neurotransmitter plays a role in several metabolic activities and physiological functions, such as stress management, sleep aid, regulates hormone secretion, reduces blood pressure, improves diabetes management, enhances immune resistance to cancer, provides microbial benefits, reduces oxidative damage, provides allergic resistance, reduces asthma symptoms, controls obesity, provides anti aging benefits, it's beneficial for depression and anxiety, enhances learning and memory abilities, provides inflammatory, and is protective of liver, kidney, and intestine. Elevated blood pressure is one of the characteristic signs of metabolic syndrome. GABA is able to modulate the peripheral and central nervous systems. When a signal of elevated blood pressure is transmitted to the central nervous system, GABA is then able to inhibit the action of angiotensin converting enzymes by blocking the formation of angiotensin II and therefore effectively lowering blood pressure. Sidhu et al. Mentions how the microbiome in vegetarians and vegan varied from omnivores, and certain beneficial bacteria are known to improve the production of short chain fatty acids as well as the pathways as X4 aminobutyrate succinate pathways, which plays a critical role in the production of GABA. GABA-rich foods like tea, brown rice, fermented legumes, as well as fiber and starch-rich foods that produce GABA-producing microorganisms like chlorella, lactobacillus, and Bacillus subtilis are known to help prevent the development of hypertension. A study by Wright et al. 2017 noted a reduction in BMI as well as improved lipid profiles after following a plant based diet after 3, 6, and 12 months. Soluble fiber found in a variety of fruits, vegetables, grains, legumes help bind bile salts in the ileum, then leading to cholesterol being excreted via feces. A meta-analysis of randomized controlled trials demonstrated participants following a plant-based diet had a significant reduction in triglyceride levels. Fiber-rich foods have also been noted to reduce inflammation as well as circulating C-reactive protein. Other studies have demonstrated monounsaturated fatty acids and polyunsaturated fatty acids are associated with reduced triglycerides, LDL-C, HDL-C, and ApoB concentrations. Consumption of nuts has also been associated with reduced triglyceride levels. The plant sterols found in nuts may also contribute to lower lipid concentrations. Literature has found that reducing fasting insulin is more likely to produce weight loss than the other way around. Insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes are both part of the characteristics that make up metabolic syndrome. Hyperinsulinemia, which causes insulin resistance, then turns into type 2 diabetes later on. Plant based nutrition has the potential to be an effective approach to use as intervention for the treatment of metabolic syndrome. The benefits following a plant based diet are noted to have beneficial effects on improving the individual characteristic of metabolic syndrome. Research noted that markers like HDL and LDL cholesterol, triglycerides, hyperinsulinemia and or insulin sensitivities, BMI, obesity, hypertension can all be safely managed with the use of a plant-based diet implementation.